Welcome to the From My Stand podcast with Matt Hinkle. Whether you are an avid hunter, a novice, or someone interested in the sport, Matt has a unique perspective to share. Sit back, relax, and kick your boots up as Matt shares what he's seeing from his stand.
Hi friends, thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle, and I wanted to do a little quick talk about trail cameras. Trail cameras have been out now for, I don't know, probably about 25 years. I was a little late to the party on trail cameras. I remember when they first came out, and I wasn't real interested or much of a believer. And boy, that has changed. I am a big proponent of trail cams today. Now, there's lots of different options. There's lots of different choices in trail cams, and we're not going to cover everything today in this little spot about trail cams. So my favorite setups, I like these Browning trail cams. They're simple, but they are reliable. And now these are not cell cams, okay? These take an SD card. And so I do pull cards when I use these cameras, but these are the ones that I really, really like. They don't require a cell phone plan. They're somewhat inexpensive. Now, I would caution you against going with the super, super cheap SD card cameras because sometimes they don't give you very good pictures or they don't hold a battery charge very long. Browning makes really good stuff. So these are really on the lower end of the price point. I actually saw a few of these the other day. Now, mind you, it is the off season right now, but I saw some of these going for $59 the other day. That is a great price for a Browning trail cam. And I have found these to be very reliable. I'm in like my 6th season with this camera, so it does a great job. Now, just some basics on how it works, and they're all different. If you don't use them like this, if you don't use the same type, yours might be a little bit different. But there's a little latch there. It opens a little door. There's a little control panel. When you turn it on, it's going to light up. Now, it's telling us right now there's no SD card. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put an SD card in there. It gives you a little picture of exactly how to position the SD card. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in per the picture, and it just pops in. And when you turn it on, now, I got about an 85%, 90% battery. These are pretty fresh batteries. And I've got enough memory for 1,600 pictures. Now, that's okay for me. I am hanging this one on private land, okay? Now, if I was hanging it on public land, I might try to find a bigger card. I might leave it a little bit longer if it's not somewhere real convenient to get to. But anyway, those are all things you can kind of sort out for your own situation. But then you just close the door, snap the latch, and you are ready to position this trail cam. All right, the kind of trees that I look for to hang a trail cam on, this is the poster child for the type of tree that I look for. It is relatively straight up and down. Look, when you go in the woods, you're going to find that trees grow at all different kinds of angles. They're all a little different. So, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I would try to find one as straight as you possibly can so that your camera's not cocked one way or the other. You want it to be as plumb and level as you can possibly get it. Now, something else to think about. I hang my trail cams about as high as my belt for white-tailed deer. Now, if you're a bear hunter, if you're an elk hunter, something like that, moose, it might change. But for white-tailed deer here in the Midwest, if you hang it about as high as your belt, give or take. I mean, you don't need to take a tape measure out in the woods. You don't have to get that precise. But I would just hang it right about that height and make sure that it's pointed in a direction where you expect deer to come. Now, some people are going to set their trail cams up around a food plot or a corn pile. Now, that's not what we're doing here, but if you are, that's fine. That's a legitimate and a common way to do it. I've got this one set up on a trail, okay? It's a trail that I know deer will be on. And so if it sits here long enough, it's gonna pick up deer. Now you wanna make sure that you pull that good and tight. And then you've heard me say this before about tree stands. I am not a big fan of just leaving tails laying around like that, okay? If you do that, it's just, first of all, it looks sloppy. Secondly, it's gonna blow around in the wind. Third, an animal could get hung up in it. So just take your tail and wrap it around a few times, and then I just wrap it back into itself, pull it tight. It just looks a little better, and it's gonna be a little less, it's gonna be a little more inconspicuous to wildlife. I do think sometimes they do see these trail cams. I've had deer stick their nose right in the lens, and you know, they get right on it. So again, that's about belt high. That's about where you'd want it for a whitetail deer. If you're hunting some other different type of big game, of course, make the adjustment as you need. Something else a lot of people don't think about, and you should think about it, because I have set cameras up before and then got my film later and been like, oh man, I can't see nothing. You want to set your camera up to where it is not going to have the sun in its eyes, okay? I try not to position my cameras where they're facing either east or west. Think about it. When do deer move? When are deer most active? Most of the time, deer are active at dusk and dawn, when the sun is low, either coming or going. It's either just rising or it's fading, okay? If you've got this thing pointed west and you got deer that come in the evening right before dark and the sun is right behind the deer, look, if you do it once, you'll never forget it. You can't see them. The sun just blinds everything in that picture. So I try to face my cameras either north or south. That tends to be okay in this part of the country. It keeps the sun out of the trail cam. Also, you know what? Let's just talk for just a minute about trail cam etiquette. If you're on public land or you're on even private land where multiple people have access and you see a trail cam, leave it alone, guys. Look, we are all the brand of hunting, okay? There's a lot of people in the world. There are a lot of enemies to hunting that would love to just shut the whole thing down. You know, we've got plenty of people that want to shut all hunting down. And so we are all, whether we like it or not, brand representatives. Every time you go out, you're representing the brand of hunting, either good or bad. So if you see a fellow hunter's camera out and it's not your land that you control and you know you didn't give them permission, leave it alone. Don't mess with their cards. Don't mess with their SD card. Don't mess with their camera. That's just bad ethics, especially on public land. It seems like anymore you can't hardly leave anything on public land. And it may never get any better, but don't be the reason that it's so bad. You know, have good ethics with other people's cameras. And then, you know, I'm a big believer in what comes around goes around. I really think if you leave their stuff alone, it's a better chance people leaving your stuff alone. So, you know, just a little word there about just not messing with other people's stuff if you find it. It's real tempting and so easy to take off with somebody's cameras. Now, if the ethics and morality won't get you to do it, just remember this too. A lot of these things take video footage now and go straight to people's cell phones. And you don't always know what they're capturing on their cell phone that they could use later. I've heard about people being prosecuted because they were messing with other people's stuff. Just don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. It's not worth it. It's just not, trust me. So anyway, trail cams, I'm a big fan. I didn't start out as a big fan, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Now, one other thing, trail cams don't guarantee big bucks. Don't think that you're gonna set a trail cam up and then all of a sudden your poor hunting record is just gonna change and all of a sudden you're gonna be this great hunter. Cameras don't lie. They show you what's there. They show you what's not there, but you still gotta hunt. You still gotta be, you know, that deer still has all 5 of his senses and it's you against him. So don't think a trail cam is just going to magically solve all your problems, but they are a great tool. They tell you what's out there and cameras don't lie. I hope this has been a help to you. I love them. I love Browning ones, but use what works for you. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle. Thanks for joining us today. And that's how I see it from my stand.
Thank you for listening today. Be sure to tell your buddies and follow us on your favorite podcasting platforms. Y'all take care.